Good morning, Taylor. I'm Carl Zymak, and this is another installment of Coffee with Rick Sollars. Today we're going to be looking at some political propaganda that you might have gotten during this in your mail recently. We'll be bringing on Rick real shortly, but get ready. It's Coffee with Rick. Hey, good morning, Rick. How you doing today?
Morning, Carl. Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Been busy?
I've been very, very busy. It's been a lot of fun, though. Getting a chance to meet a lot of new people. It's been great.
Well, there's no doubt that this political season is rearing its ugly head again. We noticed a survey that went out in the mail, and I guess the first question I want to ask you is, where did this survey come from? All of a sudden you've got people from Northville chiming in. I thought I was the only Northville person in this election.
Yeah, it was funny, you know, if I'm not mistaken, a particular individual was criticizing you for your involvement in living in Northville. Yeah, Carl, you know, this is the first thing when I happened to get this particular piece at my house, which is this piece, this survey put on for all the people. The first thing I noticed is the Northville address, and so for me, the address looked very familiar, so I started connecting some of the dots, and I realized that this address is actually registered to the same law firm that represented the mayor in his SAFER grant hearing. And we dug a little deeper, and we also found that this same group, this For All the People, actually held a fundraiser back in 2012 and charged $5,000 per table for this fundraiser held at Meadowbrook Golf Club. Okay. And again, all put on by the same group. And this particular piece is the flyer that was distributed for this group. And as you can see, our mayor, or the city's mayor, is the guest speaker at this particular event. And it really causes me a lot of concern that they take this unbiased approach to the survey. You know, we don't, I think it even says here, it says that, and takes no position on any question contained herein and does not endorse, support, or oppose any candidate. Well, that obviously is just very, very misleading. Clearly, they have a candidate in this race, and that's why, you know, the two dots connected pretty quick.
Well, on top of that, the questions that were framed in the survey are very, very slanted. They make these grand assumptions, okay? Can you address some of that?
Yeah, you know, as I went through this, Carl, I looked at some of these things, and some of the things that are clearly scare tactics, trying to scare people into tax increases. You know, they talk about tax increase of operating the fire department would be a 3.7 mil increase. To operate the equivalent of the call center would be a 1.76 mil per year increase. The reality of that is we already have these people on staff, and what the mayor is doing currently by violating these contracts continuously, he's the one putting us in the hole. It's through these arbitration hearings that the city of Taylor is finding themselves in a very deep hole by violating the fire department's contract, by violating the contract of the AFSCME union local 1128. It's these things that now total, that grand total is up over $1.2 million in unfunded accrued liability that we now have to pay for violating these contracts with these folks. And so, you know, while they try to paint the picture of that, you know, we're going to have to increase taxes, we have to manage the city of Taylor more effectively and more efficiently, and we cannot continue to violate contracts because those are things that we ultimately have to pay for long term.
Rick, your platform, from stem to stern, from the get-go, when you announced, has never discussed tax increases. I mean, you never know what could happen down the road. No city can know. But from your point of view, walking in, you don't have any magic wand to raise taxes.
Absolutely not, Carl. We haven't discussed raising taxes. We absolutely discussed working within our means, but we have to find ways to work within our means and still honor these contractual agreements that we exist in. So the idea that we're going to go out and eliminate the call center and we're going to raise your taxes by 1.7 mils is simply ridiculous. That what we're going to do is offer you a better product, and by doing that, we're going to bring back some of the concepts of when you call City Hall, you don't get an answer, you get a solution. The taxpayers in this community, they want solutions. They don't want to wait 40 minutes to talk to somebody only to find out that, you know, they have to open a help ticket and your number, you know, 42 on the list, and we'll get to you soon. They're looking for solutions, and we have an obligation to provide those solutions to them.
It's the same thing with the closed fire stations. I mean, people do not want to call the fire department in an emergency and have that line just ringing. I remember listening to that audio when the young boy was beaten on Waddell Street. And that was really a scary audio to listen to on the News Herald because that line just rang and rang and rang. And at one time, Taylor firefighters were talking about whether they could get a hold of HealthLink. You know, that was a question. I mean, I thought everybody at the end of that situation did the best they could.
Sure,
okay,
sure.
the people on the job. But it is scary when you get that kind of service.
Well, if you've ever had to call 911, you know that 30 seconds feels like 3 minutes.
Right.
3 minutes feels like 30 minutes.
Right.
It all multiplies because you're in an emergency situation. So in this particular case, yeah, that was unacceptable. I mean, you know, these people, they clearly had their infant child. You know, they didn't know what had happened. They didn't know what was going to happen,
Right.
and that type of prolonged response is simply not going to work. And we have to provide a better product than that to the taxpayers. They deserve it.
Right.
That's what Taylor's all about. The other thing is that I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but I know that this is some of the discussions that have came up. But outside of 911, we don't even have a direct line to the fire department.
I was going to ask you that question. Yeah, exactly. If I wanted to call the fire department and I got on my cell phone, what would I find, Rick?
You'd find that Taylor does not have a listed telephone number to the Taylor Fire Department.
Yeah, closest is like Lincoln Park and Dearborn Heights or Romulus or something like that.
Yep, all those, but not Taylor doesn't have one. So, so getting back to this piece, Carl, it's just very misleading. It's very disingenuous. It's clearly, they try to slide this piece a certain direction, and I would expect that this is not the last piece that the residents of this community are going to see. I expect that they obviously at $5,000 a table, they probably raised a significant amount of money.
Right.
And I fully expect that this For All the People or these other groups out of Allen Park or Northville or wherever they're coming from, I would just say, what does a group in Allen Park or Northville really have any interest in Taylor politics?
Right, exactly.
Where's the connection?
Yeah, because you said it's not going to be the end, and it probably certainly won't be. But it hasn't even been the beginning, because we did see before the primary the one from Allen Park that came out.
We did, and again, why does a group? I believe it was called the Small Business Government Alliance or something like that.
Right.
Why does a group in Allen Park have an interest in Taylor politics? No more than a group in Northville having an interest in Taylor politics. I mean, this is a significant investment to mail out. This is not cheap. This total cost, they clearly had to raise some money to produce it. And my expectation is that it will come again and again, and it will eventually be that our results that we found are clearly indicate that mayor is the favored choice, and it's just ridiculous.
Before we go, you up to playing a little game with me?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you to grade the mayor, not against you, because you've stated your case, okay?
Right.
I want you to grade him against himself, okay? Let's take the survey. How has the mayor done public safety over the last 4 years?
Here's a guy that ran on a public safety platform. I
He
believe
did,
his
didn't he?
question was, are you safer than you were 4 years ago in
Right.
2009?
Right.
I think we all know that answer. He has imploded the Taylor Police and Taylor Fire Department.
Right.
Our numbers are down in both. We've been in the media for all the wrong reasons, and I think that public safety, if on a scale of 1 to 10, if I had to grade the mayor, it would be a -5.
What about roads? That kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I find that one interesting. We recently approved $1.2 million in capital improvements to some of our local roads, which is great. Why did it take till an election season to inspire this? We've had 4 years to fix these roads. Pinecrest, Beverly, Joan.
Right.
Why is it that it takes an election cycle to inspire this administration to do what they should have been doing all along? I'm all for fixing the roads regardless, but I think we just need to point it out and call it what it is. It's an election type of opportunity for this administration.
It's amazing what happens when an incumbent mayor loses a primary.
It is. It really is.
What about recreation?
Again, what is that in Taylor? We don't have any.
Right.
We don't have the rec center. Other than the dance program that operates out of the back portion of the building, we don't have a recreation program.
Right.
The Parks Department, Heritage Park is in terrible condition in my opinion. It's overgrown. The Cone Lake has a lot of issues with the seawall.
Right.
A lot of the monuments in the park are getting old and tired, and so in Parks and Recreation, again, on a scale of 1 to 10, -2.
I continue on, Rick, but this is getting to be a pathetic venture down here. Infrastructure, routine services, library, and other cultural activities. The mayor's been a miserable failure.
He really has, and you know, if somebody really wanted to go through and complete this survey, I think it's not a comparable of Rick to Jeff.
Right.
It's Jeff to Jeff.
Absolutely.
Let's cross that bridge first before we get to Rick.
Absolutely, absolutely. This has been another installment. Rick Sollars. It's going to be another busy week, isn't it, Rick?
Thanks, Carl. Absolutely.
Anytime, buddy.
Thank you very much.